Hey, you guys. I just wanted to jump on here today to talk about the power of our thoughts. Um, so, really, our thoughts are so powerful. This is something that I have been learning, in my awakening journey and in my journey of awareness, that our thoughts do create our reality. And especially in the field of mental health and psychology, sometimes it's not talked about exactly how our thoughts create our reality. So we think a certain thought, and based on that thought, we emit a vibrational frequency to the universe where we have a thought in our mind, and then it goes out into the universe, and then the universe is kind of like that antenna. Like, our thoughts are that antenna, then the universe receives it. So based on our thoughts, our thoughts and our beliefs are probably two of the most powerful things ever, because the way that we believe our reality is supposed to look and the way that our thoughts create our reality is actually how it's going to happen. So for me, when I first started tapping into manifestation, literally everything that I didn't want came to my reality. And that's me taking accountability that if we are subconscious in manifesting and in with our thoughts, we won't know, but everything we do, we'll attract everything that we don't want based on our beliefs, right? If we believe that we're not worthy of success, if we believe that we're not worthy of abundance, we won't create it because we believe that truth, right? So our thoughts, they're so powerful because they truly create our reality. And you guys, we have the potential to create our reality. We have the potential to tap into infinite abundance, and the universe totally supports us in that. It's just us aligning with it, right? Is learning that our thoughts are the most powerful energy out there because they are an energy, right? Think of a thought form. A thought form is literally a frequency that is emitted out into the universe, and what we think we're going to receive. And so basically, when we shift from subconscious programming, a lot of us are on autopilot mode. I know this is something that I'm learning to shift out of, from subconscious to conscious creation. We're on this autopilot mode of having certain thought cycles on repeat, having certain beliefs on repeat about the way life is, the way that life's supposed to be. Then that's going to be the only space that we allow ourselves to be in. When we think a certain way about our reality, we're going to create more of that reality. So we can learn to shift our thoughts from subconscious to conscious creation through raising our vibration, through self-awareness, through mindfulness. Really, where we can harness the power is the power of the present moment. When we become as present as possible, we can tap in and tune into what are we thinking, right? What is our mental dialogue? What are we saying to ourselves, about the way we think life is? I know for me, and this is for everyone, we are programmed, right, as children, and we inherit intergenerationally certain thoughts, patterns, beliefs about the way life's supposed to be, just based on what we observe and what we see in our family. We will kind of grow up subconsciously until we create that conscious awareness, and we can look at it oh, is this thought and belief, is this actually mine? Do I actually believe this, or is this something that I observed? Is this something that was taught to me? Is this something that was modeled to me? And I've been on this journey of really, I call it sifting and sorting through the subconscious, really diving deep in that awareness of what am I thinking? What stories am I telling myself? What narratives do I keep carrying? Our thoughts are so powerful, our beliefs are so powerful, and our words are powerful. So the way that we talk to ourselves really matters. The way that we talk about other people really matters, because we want to be on a frequency that's 100% love for ourselves and knowing that we deserve what we want to manifest. So part of that is really tapping into, what are my thoughts? What do I believe about myself and about reality? And what would I like to create? And through that, we can just start to be as present as possible, really tapping into what it means to be mindful, what it means to be present. And when we're present, all we need to do is just notice our thoughts, right? Like, we don't have to attach to them, we don't have to label them. But what can happen is a lot of shame, guilt, and weight in the narrative or the story. We all have stories that we hold on to. We create identities based on core beliefs, based on what our past has given us. We hold on to these stories and certain ways of being that actually keep us stuck, that actually disallow us from moving forward and being present and stepping into future timelines. So when we tap into just that awareness, like, we don't have to judge ourselves, we don't have to shame ourselves, there doesn't have to be such a heavy weight of guilt and shame behind bringing awareness to our thoughts, behind bringing awareness to our subconscious. We can actually just learn to shift and sort and say, okay, this is something that has served me in the past. Like, we can even really break it down like that. Usually there's core experiences that create these narratives or these thoughts or these stories that we tell ourselves. So usually, I mean, they are subconscious, but, you know, we can, even when we're doing like inner child work and really breaking things down, we can really sometimes even pinpoint, like, this was a space in my life that I created this story or this narrative or attached this power of, this is the way things are and this is the way they're gonna be. So when we just learn how to do that, we can do it objectively. Like, the thing is, part of the healing journey is really challenging because a lot of the times we carry so much weight and guilt and shame behind these subconscious thoughts and beliefs. But when we learn to shift into this conscious level awareness and being present in this moment right now is really the only thing that we can ever control, right? This moment, here and now, that's all we can control. So when we learn to shift from subconscious awareness into conscious awareness, we can manifest our reality, right? We can truly manifest our reality. And with that is shedding layers and layers of thoughts. We can learn, we can even tap into, okay, I call it, this is the ego, right? This is the protective layer that has been built, kind of like looking at it as a wall around us, like this invisible wall where we build these certain barriers based on limitations or not allowing ourselves certain ways, right? We have this protective layer that keeps us safe because it can be scary to be vulnerable, to open yourself up. But we have to learn how to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and do things that are uncomfortable so we can really break down that wall, because it all starts right here. It all starts with, how do I feel about myself? And then I'm going to manifest that into my reality. So when we can learn to kind of break down our ego self, really dive into our shadow, then we can start to create more consciously, whereas before, a lot of us were probably manifesting, myself included, from this subconscious space of not knowing what we want, of creating only based on past patterns and ways of functioning. And we can learn to shift from the subconscious to the conscious, and that's based on tapping into our thoughts, tapping into our narratives, tapping into our dialogues, really getting comfortable with just listening to the mind, being alone, being present, learning how to meditate and to really unpack like what is there, because the subconscious will rule our life until we become aware of it. The subconscious is at least over 80% of, I kind of look at it as an iceberg, right? Like, on top we have maybe 10% of conscious awareness, and underneath, unpacked, is our whole subconscious, based on our past, based on our conditioning, based on our programming. So when we just can dive into that and slowly unpack, like, what's underneath that? Why do I feel this way about a certain situation? Why do I feel this way about myself? What is coming up that is unhealed within me that is blocking me from stepping into being a conscious creator? Because that's truly truly what we are and what we're meant to be. We're meant to consciously create. We're meant to be conscious creators, manifest our ideal reality. And the universe wants that, you guys. Like, the universe is head over heels excited when we can step into that way of being, and when we can, like, really fully, like, open that solar plexus and say, I am confident and this is my purpose. That's when things will start to align. It really is an energy. Thoughts are an energy, beliefs are an energy, and words are an energy too, right? So, like, if we tell ourselves, I'm not worthy, like, I'm so guilty for that for so many years, like, believing that I wasn't worthy of success, believing that I wasn't worthy of happiness. I struggled with depression, anxiety, PTSD for so many years, and you know, it's something I'm still working through, but I stayed in that energy of not allowing, of not aligning, of not feeling like I was worthy of stepping into something new, because I was holding on so tightly to the old, so tightly to the past, that I didn't know. I had no idea how to even manifest or consciously create. So what ended up happening was I manifested everything I didn't want into my reality, became aware of it, and then had to step back and actually have that conscious recognition that my mind is a powerful creator. Everybody's is, you guys. This is how it works. This is how vibration works. This is how alignment works. This is how it is. We have to believe that we are worthy. And every single one of you, all of us are worthy. We're all worthy of success. We're all worthy of abundance. We're all so worthy of love and happiness. And really, like, we are the only ones that are blocking ourselves off. So when we stay in that energy of it's like that ego, like, creates that wall, right? It's this subconscious, you know, I'm a visualizer, so I look at it as we create this wall around ourselves. I know I did that when I was depressed for years. I just kept a wall. I didn't want to burden anyone. I didn't think anyone would want to listen to what I was going through. I just kept that wall up, and what I did is I actually blocked myself off from allowing anyone in, from allowing any true support, and then I blocked myself off from myself. I cut off access from myself because deep down, I didn't think I was worthy of change. All I knew was a life of chaos and stress and depression and anxiety that I didn't know what a life without that looked like. So I literally had to go through such a process of unlearning, and relearning new patterns, new beliefs, new thoughts, and knowing that and believing that I was worthy of a different life, and allowing myself to shift from the life and the energy that I used to be in to knowing that I myself and all of you guys, we're divinely supported, we're divinely protected, and we're guided by the universe. And when we are in that energy of not believing, we cut ourselves off, right? We close our crown chakra to the spiritual realm, to the universal guidance, because the universe wants us. Like, that's what I learned, is like, we have a higher self version of ourselves that is waiting to connect with us, and we all deserve to connect with that energy. So if you're in a space today where, like, you're feeling like any sort of limitation or lack or any sort of, like, struggle with yourself, just know, like, that's okay, because even being in that struggle state, even being in that state of not allowing, it's because you want what you desire so badly that you're upset and you're sad that you don't have it. So, like, that's the way that I like to explain it, is it's not so much that you're going through depression, because even with that creates a stigma and an energy, right? But you are when you're in a space of not believing that you're worthy, you don't even allow new opportunities to come in, because energetically you're blocking it off, right? So, you know, if you're here today and you're struggling and you're doubting yourself, just know that it's okay to be exactly where you're at, because you can use where you're at as a catalyst to shift and transform into who you want to be. And we don't have to be perfect right now. We don't have to have it all figured out. No one has it figured out. We just pretend like we do, right? Like, literally no one has it figured out. If you do, you're lying. Because we all go through, like, every day, like, what should I be doing? Like, you know what I mean? You just showing up, being you, being authentic is all you need to be doing right now. Like, really what life's about, like, there's no end goal, you guys. There's no end goal. Like, being present is the end goal. Like, being present is really where we can harness our power, and knowing, like, we're exactly where we need to be right now, and creating a dialogue of really not attaching to our thoughts, right? Like, we can notice our thoughts. If you all do like to visualize, like, I like to visualize thoughts like coming through and passing like a cloud, like, you know, like, see your thought like on a cloud and just watch it go by. Like, learning to be really objective with ourselves like we would with someone else, right? Like, we tend to be so hard on ourselves, but when we can really tap into, okay, what do I think is possible for me? What am I thinking and experiencing right now? What energy am I in? And am I in an energy of lack and limitation, or am I in an energy of openness, alignment, and allowance? That's really all it is. It's not so much like this one-step formula or the words. It's where's my energy, and really, like, creating space for energy that feels light, right? Like, really tapping into your inner child, like, in a way where, like, you can be creative. You can start to create. When you start to create, you're opening up your sacral chakra and expressing yourself and connecting with your inner child. So really, guys, like, our thoughts are so, so powerful, and really what it starts with is how you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself. And when you can start there, without attaching the shame, without attaching the guilt, without attaching that heavy narrative, a lot of times we create subconsciously based on, and we create this identity, right? Like, well, this is the way things are. Well, this is the way things are going to be. No, you have the power to change that. And it's going to start with you. If you're shifting things like for your family line, you have the power to create new ways of being. You have the power to shift from being a subconscious creator to a conscious creator. That's our birthright here as humans. We are sovereign in that way. We are conscious creators. And when you tap into knowing that and tap into that energy of lightness and just having fun, you can kind of let yourself free of, because like, when you think about it, guys, like, our thoughts create our reality, but a lot of our thoughts aren't true. So if we can let go of thoughts of lack and limitation and shift into being our own best friend, creating self-love, holding ourselves accountable in the spaces where we need to grow, but also just knowing that right where we are is exactly where we need to be, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no place that you need to be right now other than right here. And the present moment is really, like, the present moment is the only thing that we truly have control over, the present moment and our breath. So whenever you're feeling down or disconnected, just take a moment and just thank your body for being here right now. Like, tap into that energy and then take a breath, right? Like, we can try that together right now. And when we're breathing, we really want to make sure that we're deeply inhaling and exhaling out, because with our breath we can clear energy. We can literally clear energy through our chakras. Just feel that a minute. If you're watching this, just take a deep breath. If you do visualize it going up your chakras, up to the top of your head, and really into your belly, into your solar plexus, because that's when we can step into our power, guys. Like, we are conscious creators. The universe will show you. When you speak something into existence, you will receive it. When you think something into existence, you will receive it. And that's whether you want something or you don't want something, it will manifest in your reality, because either way, we're gonna be learning a lesson. Even if it's something we don't want, usually there's a lesson behind it, because it's a catalyst to shift us into a new way of being, right? It's a catalyst to shift our energy into who we're meant to be. So, like, if you're at a spot right now where you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I don't know like my purpose, like that's okay, because you're exactly where you need to be, because you can now take this time to dive into who you want to be and what current thoughts that you have, and we can learn to notice our thoughts, right? Without attaching any labels, without attaching any stories, letting go of the heaviness behind our thoughts and our beliefs, and allowing, it's really just about allowance and aligning, right? Think of it as energy. Our thoughts are energy, and everything really is energy. So when we shift in out of that space of limitation and lack and shift into a place of allowance and aligning, well, literally, we can see a shift. You guys, manifestation is so powerful. Our thoughts are so powerful. But we have to believe deep down that we're worthy. And really all it comes down to is believing that we're worthy of change. For so many years, I didn't think I was worthy of change. I thought that just because this is the way that I was raised, or this was my reality, that this was going to continue to be my future reality. And it wasn't until I shifted into knowing that I could create a new reality, but in that I had to break down everything that was holding me back as far as what was going on in my mind. We usually run on the autopilot or the subconscious, and that's okay. There's no judgment. We all do, because it's habitual. But when we can just shift into creating awareness, like it's all about creating space for awareness in what are my thoughts telling me, and what do I believe to be true, right, guys? Because not all of our thoughts are true. And so we can remind ourselves that, like, even when we're just shifting through, like, what's buried under the subconscious, we can say, okay, thank you, thought, for coming up, or thank you, belief, for coming up, but this is no longer relevant in the present moment, right? We can really harness the power in the right here, the right now. This is the only place that we need to be. And from the present moment, that's how we manifest. From the present moment, reality is how we manifest. So when we just slowly start to become aware of our thoughts and aware of our beliefs, over time we can start to see shifts, and knowing that exactly where you are is exactly where you need to be. Because if you're watching this, you're aligned with this energy of the vibration, and maybe this was the message that you needed to receive at this time. Guys, you are 100% whole and complete as is. You do not need anything outside of you to give you value, to provide for you. It's all right here. It's all within your heart, and it's all within you. So just know that you are worthy, you are divine, you are divinely protected, guided, and supported on this journey. And we're all on this journey of spiritual awakening collectively to dive into how can we collaborate and know that we are all one. And it's all just going to start from within, and knowing that you are a conscious creator. And really, you guys, what you want to create in your reality, you can create. Like, that's such a cool thing about life, is there are no limitations. Like, limitations and lack, that's all an illusion. That's all an illusion. So, and we have illusions about ourselves. So the way you see yourself is not the way that someone else sees yourselves or your higher self sees you. So make sure you can tap into that higher self version of your energy. And remember, the universe wants to support you. The universe is ready for you to say, I want to dive right in. What do I want to create? So when we're able to just tap into our thoughts and slowly, like, unpack our subconscious, and that does it's hard work, guys. It's not easy. Like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth it, because when we can unpack our subconscious, we can allow ourselves to release the past. We can allow ourselves to let go of what's no longer serving us, whether that be a job, a relationship, a friendship, right? We have to let things go a lot. It's going to be a lot of letting go. It's going to be a lot of releasing. But when we do that, we open up space and we allow for new things to come in, for new manifestations. But in order to do that, we have to become aware. What am I thinking? What am I thinking to be true about a certain way of being? What do I think about certain situations? So we have to allow ourselves to let go of that without the story, right? Without the shame, because a lot of the times we create an identity around who we think we should be, or we create this identity from a young age, and it's almost can be scary to shift out of it. But just know, like, you are so worthy of it. You're so whole and complete just as you are right now, and your higher self loves you, and the universe loves you and supports you in this journey of growth and awareness. So just become aware, like, what am I thinking? And is it really true? Like, how much weight am I giving to this thought and this belief or this way of being? And is it something I need to continuously buy into, or can I allow myself to let it go? And that's really just the power of manifestation, the power of creation and co-creation, is learning. And a lot of the times, you guys, like, the thoughts that we have and the beliefs that we have aren't even ours. They are things that have been programmed based on society, based on family, based on gender roles. A lot of the beliefs and the thoughts that we have really aren't ours. So that is something that could potentially help you shift from just knowing, like, really, like, so much of this subconscious programming isn't even ours. It's just this autopilot habitual way of being. So we have that power to shift from subconscious creation to conscious creation, but we have to allow ourselves. And that's really where a lot of us get stuck, is believing deep down that we don't deserve it because it's so unfamiliar. So I just want you to take a deep breath, and maybe this is the guidance that is being sent through from the universe, from my higher self to your higher self, is knowing that you have the infinite potential to be whoever you want to be, and you have the potential to create your own reality. But part of that is slowly becoming aware of your thoughts and of your beliefs, so you can allow yourself to shift into a new way of being. And when we tap into our thoughts, with our thoughts, they literally are like vibrational frequencies. So everything in life is energy, and everything we think is energy and believe is energy. This space right here, it's all energy. So just knowing that, like, we can choose to think something different, and we can choose to shift from the subconscious to the conscious, and allowing ourselves space too for compassion, for self-compassion, for self-forgiveness. If we do mess up, guys, it's not a big deal. Like, we're all learning, and we're all growing, and we're all evolving. So please, 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 if anything, definitely give yourself time and space to mess up, and just don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as a learning opportunity, because all our failures aren't really failures. They're all meant to teach us, and they're all actually, like, huge catalysts for us to grow. So nothing in this life is a mistake. Nothing in this life is a failure or a mess up. Everything is about aligning. We can choose different timelines, but based on the areas that we don't want to be in, it's that contrast, right? That duality of where we are, where we don't want to be, can create that catalyst into going where we really want to be. And when we're in that state of feeling depressed or feeling lost, just know it's because whatever's on the other side we desire so badly. So when we can release attachment or expectation of this is the way it's going to be, or this is the way it's going to manifest, we have to allow ourselves to detach from any outcomes of our manifestations of being a certain way. We have to allow ourselves in life to release conditions. That way we can shift into a new way of being, which feels so much more free, which is very light, right? We have to let go of that heaviness, that fog that we're holding on to. For me, I felt like I had to hold on to it. I don't even think there was a specific reason per se. It was just safe, right? It was comfortable. It was what I was used to. It was all I knew. So when I said, okay, I'm going to be conscious and know that all these subconscious thoughts and programs are here, what have they taught me about myself, and how can I use them as lessons to shift into something different, to shift into a new way of being, to shift into consciousness. And with that, you guys, all it is just learning mindfulness and how to be right here, right now. Because in the present moment we manifest, and the present moment and our breath are really the only two things that we can fully control. And change is the only consistent and constant thing in life. So when we learn how to become more adaptable to change, we can really learn how to harness the power of the present moment and shift our thoughts from being subconscious and autopilot and habitual into conscious. And no, it's okay to shift. It's okay to go back and forth between, because we're human. Like, no one is perfect and all the time in the way, but we can learn how to grow and just become aware of what is subconscious and what is conscious, right? What is our ego self? What is that protective layer? What is that protective wall that keeps us safe? What limits us from being vulnerable? Really unpack that. I'm doing that deep shadow work in what do we feel our limitations are and why. We don't have to judge it. We can literally just become aware of it so we can release it. And part of that, guys, it is all energy. Our subconscious is energy. The way that we think and what we believe, it is an energetic frequency, right? It literally carries energetic weight that is going to be more dense than stepping into a new way of being. So the only gap here, the way to bridge that gap, is allowance and alignment. It's an energy. So shifting from that density and that story and that narrative behind our thoughts, releasing that, and just learning to be objective, to observe, and to give ourselves compassion in shifting from and really rewiring the brain from the subconscious to the conscious is not easy work, right? It's not going to be like this overnight and it's going to shift. It's over time, it's progressive, and we have to make peace with being exactly where we are right now, and knowing that our past, being the past version of ourselves, learning to unlearn, right, all the old programming and patterns based on intergenerational family patterns and societal patterns and ways of being, and knowing like we were programmed to be a certain way. We can shift from that into conscious creation, and it's really just about that release. It's really just about aligning with that energy that we deserve something different, is that we deserve change and we can adapt to change. That's really all it is, and we don't have to beat ourselves up in the process. I know for me, I was almost like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm still here. And then I created that shame story and that guilt within myself as to, I'm like, well, why am I not where I want to be? So I had to learn how to release that and just make peace with being right here, right now. And that's really where we can harness our power, when we become mindful of our thoughts in this present moment. And we can just shift into creating new thoughts and knowing it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like this instant, I'm a new person. It's more when we are awakening to a new way of being, we just slowly, gradually can transform our old self into our new self. And that is, it just goes to show the power of our thoughts and the power of our subconscious, you guys. Our subconscious is so powerful. Our mind is such a powerful tool. Our mind is the most powerful tool. What we think, we can create, but that's based on what we believe, and that's based on what we hold true in our subconscious about reality. So if we would like to shift from subconscious to conscious creation, we have to shift who we used to be, and we have to let go of any thoughts or feelings of lack and limitation. And I'm just here to remind you today, like, the universe supports you in expanding. The universe supports you in creating your ideal reality, and you have to get out of your own way in order to get there. And you're so worthy of it. You're so deserving. You're so whole and complete exactly as you are. So if you're hearing this message today, I really hope that this helped. And I just want to let you know, like, you're exactly where you need to be. And just remember, just be mindful of your thoughts. just be objective in observing them and allow yourself to release old patterns and ways of being that no longer serve you, so you can step into a new reality and create that. So I hope this was helpful for whoever was tuning in today. I just want to send that reminder that our thoughts and beliefs do create our reality, and we do manifest, whether we know it or not, subconsciously or consciously. So we can make a choice whether we want it to be the subconscious manifestation or conscious creation. And we all are conscious creators, so we have to allow ourselves to bridge that gap so we can start to create consciously and know that you're so worthy and guided of creating whatever you desire, and what you seek is also seeking you. So just put that energy out there. Just put that energy out there. Tap into your inner child. Inner child work is a great place to start. Just tapping into what makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a specific goal. It can just be, I want to align with feeling lighter. I want to create thoughts that feel better, right? And knowing that our thoughts are not always true. Some things that we say about ourselves or believe, they're not always true. They're just based on keeping ourselves safe. So just allow yourself to release that and step into thinking more positively about yourself using affirmations. Affirmations, if you want to try that, that's a great way to rewire the subconscious brain. And at first, if you haven't done affirmations work, it might feel a little unfamiliar, but affirmations work, and writing them on mirrors, writing sticky notes, pick one thing, something as simple as everything is working out best case scenario. That's something that's very general that you can attach to. And mirror work too, looking at yourself in the mirror and reconnecting with your heart, reconnecting with your soul, and knowing that you are so worthy of every single thing you desire. So just get out of your own way. Please get out of your own way and align with your highest self, and the universe will totally support you in this journey of creating consciously. So if you're checking in today, thank you. I definitely appreciate you sticking around and listening to this. And if this did help, definitely leave a comment and if you want to let me know something that you're working through, that's cool too. But just know, you're divinely guided, and your thoughts do create your reality. So be mindful of how you talk to yourself. Talk to yourself with compassion, because it all starts in here. It all starts with, how do I feel about myself, right? That's where we're going to harness that. And in the present moment, right? Just become more and more conscious over time of, okay, am I thinking something based in the past, or am I projecting into the future? When we can be here right now, we can really harness all the energy that we need to. So thank you all for watching, and I hope everybody has a really great day. Peace and love.